Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the launch of the migration strategy of the Republic of Djibouti, the working visit of French senator delegation in Djibouti, for the international scene, South Africa to introduce a vaccine passport for COVID-19. Welcome to our newsroom. The Prime Minister and Acting Head of Government, His Excellency Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, presided over the launching ceremony of the migration strategy of the Republic of Djibouti and the International Organization for Migration Country Strategy for 2021 to 2024, an event that is of paramount importance, the objective of which is to validate the migration strategy of Djibouti, a strategy that serves as a fundamental basis for strengthening the governance of migration and to make migration a vector for the development of the country consistent with the constitution, laws and national legislation on migration and international normative instruments and policies on migration. It was also discussed the EOM country strategy for 2021-2024, a strategy that defines the new orientation of the organization with Africa and the policy and strategic levels. This strategy is in line with the goals and objectives of the Global Compact for safe, orderly and regular migration, to which almost all African countries adhere, as well as with the 2013 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the EOM strategic vision and the EOM migration governance framework. EOM's regional strategy for the East and Horn of Africa aims to leverage migration for sustainable development and ensure that no one is left behind. The strategy is centered on the human rights of migrants, the Sustainable Development Goals, the African Union's Agenda 2063, and the strategic priority of its member state and regional economic communities. This workshop was enhanced by the presence of the member of the government, including ministers, senior officials of the administration, senior officials of the national police, diplomatic representative of the United Nations system. The head of the European Union mission, Mr. Bernard François, and the representative of the International Organization for Migration, Stéphanie Davio, stated in their speeches the strategy lays the foundation for the renewed and strengthened cooperation with key actors for a better governance of African migration in order to foster an inclusive and sustainable development in Africa. In the same vein, the Minister of Interior, Said Nuh Hassan, added that this strategy is based on a participatory and inclusive approach involving the main state and non-state actors, and approach mobilizing all public authorities in accordance with the recommendations of the Global Compact. Finally, the Prime Minister and Acting Head of Government, Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, emphasized that this strategy emphasizes a holistic and cross-cutting perspective on migration. He said that it takes into account essential themes inter alia such as governance and migration management, control, surveillance, management and regulation of borders, protection of migrants, right, saving human lives, resilience to face situations of vulnerability, migration and development. After the campus key, the Prime Minister and acting head of government, His Excellency Abdelkader Kamel Mohammed, received it today. In the late morning, the Friendship Group of France, Horn of Africa countries, headed by Senator Cédric Perrin, in his office, the two parties discussed at length the state of bilateral relations between the two countries and the ways and means that are likely to further strengthen diplomacy before his interlocutor, the Prime Minister, and acting head of government, Abdelkader Kamel Mohammed, raised the need for Friendship Group to contribute to the strengthening of cooperation, the ties between the two nations. The President of the National Assembly, His Excellency Mohamed Ali Homed, received this morning on Monday, September 13, 2021, a delegation of French senators led by Cédric Perrin. The discussion is focused on ways and means to strengthen parliamentary relations between the two brotherly and friendly countries, knowing that France is the first ally of the Republic of Djibouti, and they maintain several relations in several economic, political, and cultural areas. The delegation was introduced by the Ambassador of France in Djibouti, Arnaud Guillois. The President of the National Assembly, Mohamed Ali Homed, thanked the French delegation for their visit and to Djibouti in order to learn about the current situations in Djibouti. The interview was attended by the President of the Franco-Djiboutian Friendship Group at the National Assembly, Mr. Dileita, Mohamed Dileita. The interview was closed by the handover of gifts and family photo. The President of the Franco-Djiboutian Friendship Group at the National Assembly, Dileita Mohamed Dileita, held a briefing meeting with the French senator delegation. The French delegation was briefed on the current situations of the security issue in the Horn of Africa. The President of the Franco-Djiboutian Friendship Group at the National Assembly, Dileita Mohamed Dileita, explained that the situations in the neighboring countries, Ethiopia and Somalia, in all the more alarming and requires the reactions of the international communities. After the meeting, the delegation made a short visit to the national hemicycle under the aegis of the former Prime Minister Dileita Mohamed Dileita. The Minister of Foreign Affairs for International Cooperation Government spokesman Mahmoud Ali Yusuf received this morning a high-level French Senate delegation of the France Horn of Africa Friendship Group of the French Senate, led by Cédric Perrin, Senator President of this group. This delegation was composed, in addition to the Senator President of the group, Cédric Perrin, and Arnaud Guillois, Ambassador of France in Djibouti, Olivier Sigolotti, Senator of President Delegate for Djibouti, and Hugues Sori, Senator for President Delegate for Sudan, and finally, Mr. Xavier Dupré, Administrator of the Senate. The meeting took place in a cordial atmosphere, reflected the spirit of friendship and cooperation between France and Djibouti, mutually beneficial to both countries. In addition, the meeting was also an opportunity to discuss the context of peace and security in the region and in the world, including the internal fratricidal wars and the prospect of elections in Ethiopia, Somalia, and Yemen. In this context of things, the Senator have very appreciated the presentation of the overview of the head of the Djiboutian diplomacy. The President of the National Assembly, His Excellency Mohamed Ali Homed, received this morning on Monday, September 13, 2021, for a farewell visit the Cuban Ambassador to Djibouti, Lazaro Poledo Meza. The discussion is focused on ways and means of reactions to the pandemic of COVID-19 that has brought down all countries of the world, and the bilateral relations between the two brotherly and friendly countries. On his part, the President of the Assembly wished good luck for the diplomat in his new assignment. For his part, the Cuban ambassador to Djibouti, Lazaro Poledo Meza, did not fail to thank the President of the National Assembly and the Djiboutian government that have worked positively to strengthen the bond of friendship that existed between the two countries. Under the high patronage of the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Assowe, through the Djiboutian Copyright Office, the Republic of Djibouti celebrated today the African Day of Copyright and Collective Management. This is an initiative of more than 20 societies constituting the International Confederation of Societies and other composers. It is a first in Djibouti, a day entirely devoted to the cause of a creator, organized by the Djiboutian Office of the Author Rights, and the objective of this workshop aims at action of sensitization for the benefit of the respect and others' rights and the neighboring right. The Djiboutian Copyright Office is a young institution created in July 23, 2006. It is a public institution responsible for the collective management of the copyright and related rights in the Republic of Djibouti, led by the Director General of the Djibouti Copyright Office, Idris Musa Ahmed. The day saw the participation of the major figures of the cultural and artistic landscape of our country, including the Dean of Artists, Hamadou Dabale, senior officials of the Ministry of Youth and Culture, representative of the sectoral ministries, and distinguished guests also took part. For her part, the Minister of Culture and Youth, Dr. Hibo Mumin Assowe, welcomed the celebrations of this African Author Right Day, which aims at a global mobilization in order to raise awareness and inform the African public of the economic and cultural importance of work of art. As part of the start of the 2021-2022 school year, a consultation meeting was held in the 2nd district in the presence of the active players of a consultation meeting chaired by the sub-prefect of the district 2, Haibe Hared. Indeed, like every year, the sub-prefect gathered the head of the secondary schools, the head of the neighborhood, the elders, the parents, as well as the police forces for the consultation meeting in order to raise awareness against any forms of nuisance in the learning of students. During this meeting, several subjects were discussed, such as security around the schools, hygiene, disturbance related to road traffic, in a perspective of social solidarity and integration of the Parents Committee. The main objective of this day was to find solutions to the problems raised. Thus, the sub-prefect committed himself to spare no effort to follow closely the evolutions of the project undertaken. This day is part of the awareness campaign, non-violence and cohesion. This awareness campaign aimed to urge the Djiboutian population to strengthen social cohesion and living together. Mohammed Nouman Al-Qababi is not. We learned the sadness and the emotions that occurred on Friday evenings of our dear colleagues. The deceased began his careers. The deceased Mohammed Nouman Al-Qababi began his careers in the 60s with the ORTF and FR3. After the independence, Mohammed Nouman was one of the first national journalists at RTD. Icon of the Arab section, he hosted the Generation Dispute. In this profession, he was editor, presenter, and translator at the same time. He received several medals of merit and national order of different categories for his dedication and commitment to these noble professions of journalism. The deceased was a humble and human person, simple and federative within the RTD, one of the great journalists of the Arab sections who has toured the Arab world. The deceased left behind him the widow and 3 boys, 1 girl. In this painful moment, the general management of RTD and all the staff of RTD send their sincere condolences to his family and relatives that God welcome him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. As part of the project Reprova, strengthening the productivity of plants and animal productions in Djibouti, a training workshop for the benefit of regional executives in epidemic surveillance of animal disease was held in Dekhel yesterday morning, September 12, 2021, training that will significantly improve the knowledge of regional executives who are the frontline file staff of the livestock sector, and to equip and motivate them by providing training focused on monitoring techniques and reporting of major animal disease. To this end, the workshop was attended by officials such as the acting prefect Yusuf Ali, the president of the Ministry of Agriculture, and the president of the Ministry of Health, the president of the Regional Council, Abdurrahman Yunus Are, as well as the IFAO representative, Mr. Falou Gueye, the director of Livestock and Veterinary Services, Mr. Musa Sheikh Ibrahim, the regional sub-directors, as well as the regional executive. For the international scene, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa announced on Sunday, 12 September, his intention to introduce a vaccine passport amid widespread mistrust of the COVID-19 vaccines in the continent's most affected country. In a television address to the nation, Cyril Ramaphosa assured that the immunization of the adult population was a necessary prerequisite to fully reopen the economy and avoid a fourth wave of infections. While the number of cases has dropped sharply in the country in 2 weeks, we will provide more information on a vaccine passport systems that can be used as a proof of vaccination for various purposes and events. He said that the peak of the stubborn stairs wave due to the Delta variant is now over. Over the past 7 days, the average numbers of the newly deaths has dropped by 29% from the previous weeks and by 48% from the week before, said the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.